I think skiing and snowboarding go hand in hand with speed. Skis are not designed to go slow. I've never met a ski designer that told me their ski was designed to go slow. Snowboards are designed to accelerate, to go fast. Acceleration, the thrill of that, is part of the sport. Last night, Alan Schoenberger, during his induction speech, talked about the first time he remembered being let go in an open slope and what that speed felt like. From the first time you stand on a pair of skis, you feel it. Some are scared of it. Some embrace it. Some try to slow down. But there's a gentleman in this room who wanted to be the fastest guy on the planet. Now, if you've ever stood on top of a speed skiing run, it's scary. They're narrow. There's a couple of tracks. It's bumpy and lumpy, and it's 1 kilometer long. It takes half a kilometer just to slow down. And if you've ever been on top of a speed skiing race, you're wondering, what planet are you on? Their helmets, the suits, the fairings behind their boots. And I love it when people tell me they get their ski tuned, because that's part of the process of going fast. And so their wax is perfect. C.J. Mueller. I'm lucky I got this far, mate. C.J. Crazy John. It makes sense. It makes sense. And he's from the Brotherhood because he hails as a ski bum from Breckenridge. Yeah. He's a true ski legend. Crazy John. It sounds like a character from a movie or a book or the guy you hope to find in the corner bar to give you the lowdown on where to go tomorrow. I heard it from Crazy John. If you got that information when you pulled into town, you were going to have a good ski trip. Now, he's kind of not a bashful guy. Hangs out with a motorcycle group, got himself an air band, and he's front and center in town. When he broke the 120-mile-an-hour ski barrier, he simply said it felt like a rock skipping over water. Crazy John. It was simple. He broke the speed record, I think, 3 or 4 times. He went 131, 136, and took the sport all the way to the 92 Olympics in Albertville at the age of 40, finishing in the top 10. Buckle up, we're about to go fast.
C.J. Mueller didn't discover skiing until high school, but when he did, he found a passion for speed. During the formative period of speed skiing in the 80s and 90s, Mueller was the dominant American and the first man internationally to break the magic 130 miles per hour barrier on skis. In his career, he eclipsed the world speed record 3 times. Mueller grew up in Denver, discovering skiing in 9th grade when he tagged along with a friend to Ski Cooper in Leadville. After a short stint at the Colorado School of Mines, he decided he liked skiing and he moved to Breckenridge. He was crazy about skiing and quickly picked up the nickname Crazy John. His calling card became CJ. Mueller became a central figure in the culture of Breck for half a century. From his 70s vintage Noah and the Ark's rock and roll air band with guitars made of skis, his Ridge Street Rowdies motorcycle gang, and for skiing virtually every single day, including daily rocket rides down 4 o'clock run. The Colorado native first tried traditional alpine downhill racing, but it just didn't gel. Then on a 1981 trip to Val d'Isère, France, he was invited to a speed skiing event in nearby Les Arcs, clocking 103 miles per hour. He was hooked. He opened the 1987 season winning the opener in Finland at 100 miles per hour. He upped that to a personal best of 125 2 weeks later at La Clusaz. That set the stage for his world record 131.74 miles per hour at Les Arcs. With the debut of the FIS World Cup in 1988, Mueller was one of the stars. He hit 136.31 in Les Arcs, but it was fifth behind Swiss star Michael Prufer at 139. His best World Cup season came in 1990 when he won at Willamette Pass, Oregon, and was named Speed Skiing Athlete of the Year. In a 13-year speed skiing career, he recorded 29 top 10 finishes with 11 podiums, including 3 victories. He missed the 1990 World Cup title by 1,000th of a second in the final race. Most of all, he was a pioneering voice for the sport, leading it into the 1992 Olympics, where he was 10th at the age of 40. He was inducted into the Colorado Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame in 2014. For his pioneering efforts in bringing speed skiing to the world's attention and setting world speed records, CJ Mueller is inducted into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
He's got a lot of peeps here, I can tell. We can't make this fast. Crazy John, CJ Mueller, having been elected by the 15 million skiers and snowboarders in America, we hereby bestow upon you, on this night in Big Sky, Montana, our country's highest snow sport award, the Medal of Honor. And we confer upon you from this day, Saturday, March 25th, 2023, induction into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, where your accomplishments will forever be remembered. Oh my God. I just have to ask, we're going to put that, do you get speeding tickets in a car?
You wouldn't believe how slow I go these days.
Here's your real award.
The Rubber Chicken Award. Thanks, Moondog. The Rubber Chicken. If you were going too fast, you got a rubber chicken. Yeah, she said this, well, rubber chickens flying. I don't think this is going to work, but I better leave it in here. Maybe this will go up. There we go. There we go. We'll see if I can get it to stay. She said this probably isn't going to be fast, and Scott Schmidt told me today that the world record for longest induction speech at the Hall of Fame is 45 minutes by John Clendenin, so I'm going for a world record tonight. So settle in, everybody. Justin, Dan, that was a joke. And I do get emotional, so I'm going to channel Greg Lewis and Peter Graves tonight, and hopefully I can borrow their voice to keep from getting too emotional. We'll see. A few weeks ago, as I was wondering what to say tonight, I Googled speed ski world record to get accurate information. The record was 158 miles an hour. For a true speed skier, that record translates to 254 kilometers an hour. 254. 3 days ago, this is tough. In Vars, France, the son of a friend of mine went 255. I no longer feel the need for speed. But tonight I have a need to talk about speed skiing. In 1958, Hall of Famer Ralph Mueller was timed through a 50-meter speed trap with a stopwatch and estimated to have gone 109 miles an hour. The first time in the world that someone was timed at over 100 miles an hour on skis. Ralph Mueller inspired Hall of Famer Dick Dorworth and C.B. Vaughn in 1963 to set up more accurate timing. Interestingly, they tied at 106 miles an hour and were recognized as the official world record holders. Dick Dorworth then inspired Hall of Famer Steve McKinney to become a speed skier. It was the beginning, the creation of the not just legendary, but mythically revered Steve McKinney. A four-time world record holder, 74, 77, 78, and 82, and the first ever to exceed 200 kilometers an hour on skis. Steve's friend and fellow American Tommy Simons was also a world record holder from 1976 to 1977. Tommy and Steve inspired me and many of my speed skiing friends to take up this simple but seemingly crazy sport. Friends like Melissa Domino, who escorted me to the stage tonight. Melissa, excuse me, I lost my place here. Melissa Domino, the first female ever to exceed 200 kilometers an hour on skis in 1984. Friends like Kirsten Culver, world record holder from 1983 to 1984, who also escorted me to the stage. The United States has had two other female world record holders, Marty Martin Kuntz in 1982 and again in 1983, and Carolyn Curl in 1997. I feel like that guy in The Godfather his nose kept running after he got punched in the nose by the policeman. Today, the fastest American female speed skier is Tracy May Sachs, also known as Max Sachs. Speed skiing is now under the umbrella of the FIS, and during her career, Tracy May Sachs had 82 podiums, 22 victories, and won 5 FIS speed skiing globes from 2003 to 2007. Tracy's top speed was 148 miles an hour. In 2006, Ross Anderson skied 154 miles an hour and is still the fastest American skier. Ross is a Native American, and he also won a bronze medal in the 2005 FIS World Championships and had a second place podium in 2001 at the fastest race of that season. Ross edged out John Hemble of Aspen, Colorado, who had become the fastest American in 2002 at 153 miles an hour. John Hemble also won the World Championship in 2003. My speed skiing career began in 1981 and ended in 1993. For some, speed skiing is just about world records, but I loved every race. I loved skiing all over the world. And I still love the great friends I made. I was America's fastest skier from 1987 to 1992. Speed skiing made its one and only Olympic appearance in 1992. I didn't have a clean run, as was shown on the video. But I did place 10th at 137 miles an hour. Jeff Hamilton of Auburn, California, won the bronze medal at 140 miles an hour and became America's fastest skier. Jeff broke the world record in 1997. And was the first ever to exceed 150. Jeff passed away in January from pancreatic cancer. I would also like to acknowledge my other Olympic teammates, Melissa and Kirsten, Amy Gurris, Rochelle Reisfeld, Dale Womack, and the legendary Jimbo Morgan. I'd also like to acknowledge fellow speed skier Sal Monfort, who's here. And I have to especially thank my buddy Bob Hubbard, who's here. All those days we skied every day and tucked down 4 o'clock run at the end of the day. I eventually learned, that's how I learned to have a fast tuck, so thanks, Bob. Also escorting me to the stage tonight was one of our Olympic coaches and the guy who nominated me, Randy Rogers. With special thanks to Richard Wagner, who helped with a nomination. I'd also like to congratulate all the other inductees. I've been over 100 miles an hour many times in my life, but I've never gotten the tips of my skis over the top lip of a half pipe, so I'm in awe. And Gary Black I considered a friend. Thank you to the Hall of Fame voters who not only recognized my accomplishments, but who have again recognized speed skiing as a valuable part of the ski world. I'm deeply humbled to join fellow Breckenridge skier and friend Olaf Pedersen and fellow Summit County skiers and friends Max and Edna Durkham in the U.S. Hall of Fame. Olaf, Max, and Edna have passed away, but I'm sure they're still with us. And this last part I'm not so sure about. I wanted to thank my friends and family, but they're getting a little rowdy. And extraordinary people here to support an ordinary ski bum and heavy equipment operator who found a niche in a small part of the ski world for a few years as a speed skier. May all of you here tonight continue to find great joy and peace in the beauty of the mountains, the camaraderie of friends, and in the remarkable freedom of skiing and snowboarding.